Thank you so much, Molly. Well, it is the biggest festival of democracy. India votes in the first of 7 phases in the general elections. 166 million voters in India are exercising their franchise in 102 constituencies across 21 states and union territories. But of course, polling is underway in 102 parliamentary seats across 21 states and union territories in the first phase of the Lok Sabha elections, and the polling commenced at 7 a.m. and will end at 6 p.m. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi urged people to exercise their franchise. Well, sporadic incidents of violence are also being reported in West Bengal, where polling is being held on 3 seats, namely Cooch Behar, Jalpaiguri and Alipurduar. By 10 a.m. local time, both TMC and the BJP had lodged dozens of complaints with the Election Commission over violence in the Cooch Behar Lok Sabha seat. Elsewhere in Chhattisgarh, a barrel grenade launcher's cell blast was reported in the Naxal-hit Bastar region. It was located only 500 meters from a polling booth in the Galgaon area of Bijapur while polling was underway. Now, this is as per reports. And also, a security personnel who was part of a team conducting area domination exercises was injured during the blast. And of course, first phase of voting is also underway in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur parliamentary constituency. Over 16.23 lakh voters are expected to cast their ballots here today. But voting seems to be more important for some than the others. And one such example was a newly married couple from Udhampur who went straight to the voting booth after tying the knot, cutting short their wedding festivities. But it is not only Udhampur, even in Uttarakhand, a newly married couple similarly dashed to cast their ballots at a polling booth in Pauri Garhwal. Over in the northeastern state of Assam, voters were seen using boats to travel and cast their ballots. In the first round, 47 lakh people are expected to vote, out of which around 42,000 are 85 plus voters, while around 1,500 voters are more than 100 years old. In Maharashtra, a bamboo and forest theme has been implemented at a polling station in the Kata area of Ramtek Lok Sabha constituency to give voters a new experience with this unique concept. Well, to get you the pulse of the nation, our reporters are fanned out across key locations. We have Siddhant Sibal from New Delhi, Siddharth MP joining us live from Chennai, Dharamjot Kaur live from Alwar in Rajasthan, Idris Lone from Srinagar and Disha Shah who is joining us from Mumbai. Let me first, of course, go across to Siddhant, who will give us a pan-India perspective of the first phase of the 7 phases of the elections in India. Siddhant, can you just give us what are you seeing and what are you hearing around from your sources about the first phase of the voting that has commenced in the country?
As almost 1/6 of the humanity goes to polls, this is a mammoth exercise and it has drawn applause across the world. Every successive Indian general election, and this time it's no different. Of course, the Indian Election Commission is making sure that everyone who is eligible to cast their vote is able to do. Today is the first day of the polling. We are witnessing, of course, polling across the country wherever, of course, it is designated. Remember that for the Indian Election Commission, the focus is also to face the challenge of violence. There have been certain reports in West Bengal, and also to deal with the issue of fake news as well, for which it has come out with a new initiative. But today, of course, is day 1, the first phase of polling. It is a few weeks long, and by June we'll get to know the results. But before that, we do expect a lot of color and action as Indian democracy goes to witness one of the massive exercises, that is the voting.
All right. Thanks, Siddhant. Let me now go across to Siddharth MP, who's joining us live from Chennai. Siddharth, the state of Tamil Nadu is seeing the largest number of seats, 39 seats. Now we know that Prime Minister Modi has visited the state multiple times for campaigning. Would you say that his visits will perhaps impact the voter sentiment there?
Yeah, to start about the Prime Minister's visits itself, so these are, very carefully timed. This year alone, there's been at least 8 to 10 visits that he's undertaken, both official visits and also political campaign visits. What we have to keep in mind is that this is part of a well-crafted strategy to ensure that the Saffron Party, which has not had a significant grounding here, can actually grow. So the party looks at two ways of growing. One, of course, is by fielding heavyweight candidates, and in a handful of constituencies, be it in Coimbatore, be it in Kanyakumari, be it in Nilgiris, or be it even down south in Tamil Nadu in Tirunelveli, they have significant chances of making it. So this is a place where they have some kind of very important contenders who have a chance of making it as a winner or as a runner-up in the polls. And what we have to keep in mind is that as much as they fielded these candidates, it's also about gauging what kind of vote percentage they gather at the end of all of this when the results come out, because this is a party that has always remained in the single digits. They've remained in fact below 5%. They've almost got 3.5 or 3.5 or something like that. That's been their kind of vote percentage so far. But if such a party can get to double digits in terms of vote percentage, this is actually exponential growth as far as the BJP is concerned. And this is a party that has not had, an MP for the last 5 years from Tamil Nadu. It's only their ally that had an MP. So given this context, it is important to remember that this is a party that's attempting to grow not just in Tamil Nadu, but also in adjoining Kerala, where polls will happen next Friday, because these are two regions where the BJP has never seen any growth. For example, in Kerala, they have not had a member of parliament itself. So this is the kind of situation, and why the BJP has hope in Tamil Nadu is because in the last polls in 2021, in the assembly polls, they got 4 MLAs. Of course, they were in an alliance with the AIDMK, the party which is among the strongest here in the state. But the fact remains that this time, going it alone in a tri-cornered fight, it will be extremely interesting to see how the BJP candidates fare, and every single win or every single second place that the BJP wins will be something that the party actually sees as significant growth on the ground.
Right. Thank you, Siddharth, for those updates. Let me now go across to our correspondent Dharamjot Kaur, who is in Alwar in Rajasthan. Dharamjot, you are in the midst of a desert. And of course, fair warning has been issued about the extreme temperatures that the election season might witness in the country this time around. And when we spoke to you earlier in the morning, you did tell us that as we were progressing towards the afternoon hours, the voter turnout had somewhat slimmed down. Do you see a similar trend continuing, or do you see an enthusiastic voter turnout around you?
Well, Isha, it has been a rather sluggish afternoon even now because, the heat is at its peak right now. We're touching about close to 40 degrees Celsius. So voter turnout is dismally low. Since 7 a.m. in the morning till now, we have an overall voter turnout in 12 constituencies of Rajasthan, somewhat, plateaued at around 35-36%, which is about half of what the total average turnout is by the end of the day. So poll officials who have been around for a few years conducting elections, they say that there is an uptick that is expected between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., which is the last 2 hours of when voters come to exercise their right. Because weather is playing spoil sport at the moment. We see, a complete standstill. There are hardly 1 or 2 odd people coming in to cast their ballot. These numbers, however, are expected to again go up in the last 1 hour, last 2 hours, before polling comes to an end. So at this moment, this is where the situation stands. It's a little more sluggish on the urban side of Alwar and other constituencies as well. The rural areas and the rural polling booths, they tend to see more footfall, in terms of the voters who turn out in large numbers with their families to come and cast their ballot. So a slightly dismal picture on the urban front. The rural so far is carrying forward whatever total voter turnout we have seen so far. Isha?
Thank you, Dharamjot. Do take care. And now we go across to Idris Lone, who is joining us from Srinagar. Idris, these are the first general elections that are happening in the state after the abrogation of the Article 370. Do tell me, what do you see around you? Do you see an enthusiastic voter turnout? What is the sentiment? And more importantly, if you can also touch upon what is it that the voters are really looking at in terms of their demands that they expect from the leading leaders over there who are contesting the elections?
Well, absolutely, Isha. It's the first election after the abrogation of Article 370, so a lot of excitement among the people, the politicians of Jammu and Kashmir. If we talk about the number of people that have come out to vote, we've got the report that 43% of people have already cast their vote till 1 p.m. After that, we've not received the updated data as of now, but 43% for Udhampur seems to be a decent number, as if we compare it to the last time, the total percentage was around 72%. This time there are two main contenders who will be fighting each other in this election. One, the sitting MP, Dr. Jitendra Singh from the Bharatiya Janata Party, will be fighting directly with the Congress leader Chaudhry Lal Singh, who has also been an MP from the same constituency twice. The Congress candidate this time will be supported by the regional political parties like National Conference as well as the PDP. So it seems to be a tough fight between the two. And since morning the weather was really bad. There was rain all across Jammu and Kashmir, due to which we did also see that the number of people coming to the polling booth had come down. But now it's clear skies. The sun is again out, and so are the people. We are seeing huge number of people coming out and casting their votes, especially women voters in the whole of Udhampur constituency.
All right, thank you, Idris. Let me now go across to our correspondent Disha Shah, who has very patiently been waiting there, and she's joining us from Mumbai. Disha, we do know that constituencies from Maharashtra are also going into polls today, and there have been instances of violence that were witnessed earlier on in the day. Could you give us an update on that?
Certainly, we have reported and we have seen a few cases of violence that were being reported earlier during the day. And right now, what we hear that the situation is under control. The security has been beefed up, definitely, where the violence was reported. But at this point in time, it is very important to note here that compared to 2019, this year, the voter turnout in Maharashtra is extremely low. As on 1 p.m., the last update and the report that we had received, the overall voter turnout was about 32% in the state of Maharashtra, which is less compared to what we saw in 2019. It was about 40% at that point in time. Of course, there are a number of reasons. What we understand from the officials in concern, that a lot of, considering it's a working day, a lot of offices have not really given offs to the employees, and that is why we might expect footfall to increase later during the day. From 4 p.m. onwards is what we are being told. Right now, at this point in time, the Gadchiroli belt, Gadchiroli and Chimur belt, they have completely stopped voting at about 3 p.m. They started off at 7 a.m. considering it's a Naxalite area, so considering the security and the safety reasons for the people who come out and vote. So the voting has been stopped at 3 p.m. and for the other constituencies, the voting will continue till 6 p.m. To engage with the voters, like you had highlighted earlier, this time around, it's the very first time that 10 polling booths in that entire Vidarbha belt has seen theme-based booths, be it from bamboo forest or farmers or army, all of these, and even rainbow, which also recommends, the transgender communities. All of these are the theme-based booths just to engage and interact with the voters who come in. There are about 95 lakh eligible voters who are eligible to vote in these 5 constituencies. So it is definitely a direct fight between the NDA's BJP and the MVA's Congress in 4 out of 5 constituencies, being Nagpur, one of the key constituency where Nitin Gadkari, the Union Home Minister, is going to contest. So all of this is definitely something that we see, and during the day we will have to definitely see how the voting percentage really increases and becomes better by 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you Disha, thank you Siddhant, Siddharth, Idris and Dharamjot for joining us with those ground reports. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.